Welcome to the Spectre of Anti-Blackness podcast. I'm your host, and I have two guests with us today. One sitting right next to me. If you want to introduce yourself.
Yo, it's your boy Muhammad Yusuf Ibn Hassan. I'm here from the 803, but right now I'm in the 602, Arizona, Phoenix. Let's get it.
Right on, right on. And we have one dialing in from across the country.
What's going on, guys? Charles. I also go by Chuck. Happy to be here with the brothers. Let's chop it up.
Right on, right on. So we've been trying to get this podcast going for a couple weeks now. We're all living in our lives. We're all a little busy, so we didn't really find a time to get it together until today. So we're talking about Atlanta, not just season 4, but the series as a whole. So first, I just want to ask some general thoughts. Muhammad, we can start with you. Of what are your general ideas about Atlanta? How'd you feel about it overall?
Man, the show in general, all 4 seasons. It was 4 seasons, right?
Yeah.
Man, I really enjoyed Atlanta because I could really relate to it in the sense of, the characters. Outside of myself, but I guess the experience I've had, man, there's a idea that every black person is gangster, man. I feel like it was just a broad and good way to explain, the black experience, man. You got some brothers who's, geeks, nerds, got some brothers who's in the computers, got some brothers who's in the rap, you got some brothers who's in the drugs heavy or whatever, and they all friends. It was a strong consideration of the black woman, was a strong presence in it, man. I appreciated that. It was just, and it was in the South, man. That's where the black people out here in America started. And so, I appreciated it. It felt black, man. Forest bias type shit.
Right. Yeah, and I agree with that, and we'll come back to that later because there's a question I want to ask about that further. But I want to hear Chuck's response first.
Yeah. So Muhammad hit a lot of the high points. I'll just add that I really enjoy the fullness of the characters and the I guess just the fact that there were so many different characters in this this setting, because I feel like a lot of times the idea of what goes on in the hood or the ghetto or these bad neighborhoods, as whatever term you want to use to describe it, is thought of as homogenous there, and the fact is that there is every personality type and every every personality type is represented in this place, and Atlanta was a good exhibition of all of those different personality types and the way that they interact every day. It was really I really found it rang true. There are some things I feel like that we come across in media, which has it has that certain thing that's hard to put your finger on, but that there is a lot of truth being conveyed, and so I really enjoyed it. Needless to say.
Right on. Yeah. You brought up two really good points. One being about the fullness of the characters, and the second one I'll get to later because that's also another question that I want to ask you guys. But yeah, the fullness of the characters, like the one point in it that really stood out to me was Earn, the main character, and his relationship with Van.
Right.
Because I remember, they got this complicated thing going on, which is like typical in a lot of black spaces. Um, and then in season 2, like Van wants to like have a family with them. They have a kid. She's trying to like, I want to be with you kind of thing, and he's just like, nah, I don't really want that. And season 2 premiered in 2016. I want to say it was. Maybe it was 2018. But that's when we had the long break before. Yeah, it was 2018. We had the long break until 2022. So that's kind of like where it ended for me for a while. And like, I remember feeling like I just did not understand Earn for the longest. I'm like, bro, what are you thinking? Like, this is just ridiculous. But it's also real in a way because characters aren't always going to make the perfect decisions or the decisions that align with you. And so it was in this final season where, he came back around on it full circle and was like, I do want to be with you. They have like this heartfelt moment in the tent or whatever. And that was very, like cathartic for me from watching it from the beginning. Like, finally, like, goddamn, like, whew. So yeah, I agree with the fullness of the characters.
I definitely, just to jump in real quick I definitely felt the same way, man. It was very gratifying. It almost could have been the final episode.
Mm-hmm.
And it felt like the episode after that, to me, was just a bonus. Because, I don't know, I don't know what it is, but I was definitely invested in that love story from the beginning. And it was good to see it seemingly end well for all parties involved.
Right. So, how do you guys feel about the final episode? Any thoughts?
How do we feel about what?
The final episode, the last one.
Can you remind me of it a little bit?
Yeah. So this is the episode. We have a couple different plot lines. Darius in the sleep deprivation tank.
Oh yeah.
And the other one's at the sushi.
You really don't need to explain anymore. You can if you want. I remember it all. I'm curious though. Before we get there, how did you feel about that, Muhammad? I'm talking to you. How did you feel about? Were you invested in that romantic relationship with Van and Earn?
You saying how was I invested or was I?
No. Did you? Was that important to you? Did you feel like? I'm just curious about how you felt about how the whole thing was going. Did you understand Earn when he was hesitant, or did you have that same kind of anxious feeling about that Owen kind of described?
Well, I would say, man, back in 2018. I don't really remember how I felt about it, I remember, though, when she was kind of rolling around, when Van was rolling around overseas and she was, like, on her own, and that kind of made me uncomfortable, and I was like, where the fuck is this dude? Like, why ain't he beside her? You know what I mean? I know I felt like that. But that could just be because I'm a little overprotective for my black women, But I was definitely grateful to see them together because of the character of the daughter and how she was kind of that other episode where they had her all over the place. Bro, that shit made me extremely uncomfortable.
For real.
And that, again, Earn wasn't around, And so I was just like, part of me was like, is this man just playing? But when they had that heartfelt moment, I was grateful. I was grateful that for the child.
For sure. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I think the daughter was a huge catalyst in them, coming around to each other, which was cool. But I was going to say about the. Thank you for letting me know that, Muhammad. I was curious about that. But as far I was the last episode with Darius. First of all, I hadn't really I had to Google that sleep deprivation thing. Had you guys heard of that before?
No, I don't even know. I mean, I don't even know what it was, but I don't know what was going on in that.
Yeah. I actually.
I meant to say sensory deprivation tank.
Yeah, sensory. Yeah.
What I figured out was like it's basically you are in a dark room and about 8 inches of maybe less of body temperature water, and it's the pH is such that I think it's Epsom salt that they use or something. Anyway,
yeah,
it floats you. So there's varying. I guess some people say it works, some people say it's a bunch of hoo-ha. But it's interesting to me, and I definitely would be willing to give it a try. But that was kind of weird for me. I thought the Big Jug Judy was really funny, and I really liked the way that it ended, with us not knowing whether this was a dream or not. Some people don't like those open-ended endings, but I like for the artist to give me that latitude to draw my own conclusions.
Sure, freedom of interpretation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I first heard about sensory deprivation tanks about maybe 4-ish years ago when I was living in Washington. They had some up there. Yeah, I was thinking about doing one. And you're right. It's like these tanks that you go into, and they're designed to deprive you of your senses. So you don't really feel anything, see anything, hear anything. It's just, and you're in there for an extended amount of time, half an hour to hours or however long. And whatever people get out of that, they get out of it.
Right.
I never got into it though. I don't remember if it was just because it was expensive or transportation or whatever. But I liked the last episode. I will say the ending didn't really feel punchy to me, but I also don't know if it was supposed to. The interpretation that I walked away with is similar to. I'll ask a question after I'm done this because it relates to this. Similar to the ending of The Sopranos, where it just cuts to black. You don't know who walks through the door. You don't know whether Tony lives or has another boring day, or if he gets attacked or whatever. Because as long as he's in the life, he's always going to be, fluctuating between that. So, and I like how the ending here, the episode reminds me, it's just another day in the life for these characters, more or less.
Right.
So it's not really a concluding ending like, boom, they move, she's pregnant with another baby, or, whatever, it's just another day in the life, which is kind of how I felt about it.
Right.
And any ending thoughts on it?
Bro, so
yeah. Go ahead, Mom. I'm sorry.
I was just wondering if was he high, bro?
Darius?
Yeah.
Yeah, he had smoked a little bit.
I think he was. Because I've never heard of sensory deprivation tanks doing anything like that. Sober. I know that people I've heard of people smoking weed and going into them because this whole different experience, but I don't know. I've never heard of them soberly doing the hallucinations and shit like that, but who knows?
Yeah. That bothered me. I don't understand why. I mean, I know that he was always dabbling with the psychedelics and shit like that throughout the jump, but they made it just way too. Feel like they made that aspect of it way too in the forefront, but I don't know why. It's not even the problem that it is. Just I don't know why that. Why was it important that we knew that he was tripping?
You mean that when you say that aspect, you mean that sensory deprivation, or just this whole character throughout the series was kind of on on edge. I would guess. Like I don't know.
That's cool. I feel like I said, that's a personality, like you said, trait of a lot of brothers who I know.
Right.
So I didn't have a problem throughout the joint, but I just feel like for the last episode, the finale, like, why was it such a big spotlight on his hallucinations? It's just like it took the majority of the joint. I'm just like, bro, like,
yeah. I can see where you're going with that. I guess for me, like I said before, I kind of felt like the season finale was the Earn and Van and the Chet. So that was kind of
right.
I kind of felt like that was a little bit of a bonus, and because when I'm thinking about it, just thinking out loud, if I had that other episode, then I probably would have felt that the finale was a little flat. Because there wasn't much going on. But also, correct me if I'm wrong, this is the episode where I'm forgetting his character's name, but Paperboy is in the country, right?
That's the one before this one. This is the one where him, Van, and Earn, they go to the black sushi spot.
Yeah, that was kind of weird.
That was extremely weird.
That was kind of strange.
Would y'all have ate the blobfish?
Yeah.
You would have ate it, the blobfish?
No, I wouldn't. No, I don't know, man. So I would have tried, but I think like I would have. So what's Paperboy's name? I'm forgetting his name. Alfred.
He's
Alfred attitude was, nah, this is not my move from the beginning. Earn was like, we're gonna stick it out no matter what. We're gonna support this person. And I think I would have had Van's attitude. Van seemed like she was on board in the beginning, but after a few minutes of not feeling the vibe, she was out. That would have been me. I would have gave it a college try, but after a while, I would have been someplace else eating some food.
Right.
How about you? Would you stick it out on it?
So yeah, I would have stuck it out. I'm probably a little closer to Earn in that aspect, but when it came to the poisonous blobfish, I would have been like, I'll eat it if you eat it first. To the chef, like, like, cause it's kind of difficult to trust in that way, I guess. I mean, and maybe that's what the episode was trying to get into. I don't know.
I don't know. That kind of the point of the episode. It was entertaining, but the point got kind of missed it, honestly.
Yeah.
But so that was. But what I really did enjoy was Alfred's experience in the country.
Mm-hmm.
What fascinated me about that, and surprised me in a way, because I don't think maybe it doesn't fit my character, or maybe it does. But when he finally talks to Earn at the end of the ordeal, and he doesn't say anything about what's going on.
Right.
That was fascinating.
Yeah, I was watching that one with my girlfriend, and he was on the phone with him, and I was like, he's not going to say anything. And she was like, what do you mean? She was like, how? And I was like, that's sometimes, like, that's the experience for black men in America sometimes. Like, even though he's going through all this shit, he's not just going, like, reveal that and be open about that.
Right. Especially if he had talked to him maybe an hour earlier, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
If he was but he had kind of gotten through it, which I love that running true to Alfred's character, because he wasn't the type of person to ask me.
Right.
Yeah.
To your point earlier, Muhammad, about the over fixation on Darius in the final episode, I feel like that's because they were trying to bring this idea of, was the entire story a trip? Was the entire thing just a dream and maybe a sensory deprivation tank or whatever? Because there's always been these moments in the show, the invisible car, Black Justin Bieber, that's kind of just like out of space in a way. Like, you know, they go on tour in Europe, and he goes to see this Niger shop, and he's walking down the same street like a week later. I mean, we don't know how much time has passed, you know, and then it's gentrified by the white lady in the truck. So I feel like what they were trying to pose is the whole thing, was it fake anyway? And that's why it felt flat to me, because I felt like there's no way that all of this wasn't real. Like, it's just that doesn't even comprehend for me.
Right. That's interesting because, yeah, I couldn't even go. Like you, I think that if that was the case, then they totally missed me, because you know they had done such a good job of what we've been talking about this whole time, developing actual characters that feel true,
Right.
that feel like some people we know. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, I mean, you couldn't convince me at that point.
Right.
It wasn't real. So.
Right. And to your point about the finale, Chuck, I feel like you're correct. I feel like, in my eyes at least, you're correct about Ern and Van having their finale in the 10th. Like, I feel like each character had an episode for their finale, because the next episode was then Al's finale. He's out on the farm. And then the last one was for Darius. And it feels like you kind of get a sense of to where every character is. You know, Ern and Van decided they're going to be together now. And that's kind of, it's not a happily ever after, but it's like and then they continue to live their life. Al, you know, he's probably going to try and, you know, get away from the fame, you know, have his own spot on the country, self-sustainability, that sort of thing. And Darius is Darius.
Right.
So what did you think on the aspects of the realness of the show? Did that kind of, you feel like it could have been a dream, bro?
I mean, considering the fact that it's just a show, absolutely.
Mm.
But, man, to be honest, my favorite part about it all was just season 3, fam.
Yo, same.
See what?
I said my favorite part about it was season 3 and the as well as the episode around Goofy. I love the episodes that weren't even where none of the main characters were in it.
Yeah.
Those were my favorites.
Yeah, I did too, man.
Bro.
I wonder why. Like, I like to maybe look up some interviews or hear them discuss, because how I felt about it was that they had this. I think maybe I told you this on, but they had this stage and opportunity based on these characters they had built, but they weren't going to let that hamper their creativity.
Right, limit them. Yeah.
Another story to tell.
Right. That it was a really good show because of that, fam. And for real, that Goofy thing was so, bro, real. I had to look that shit up, fam, because I stopped watching it and was like, these motherfuckers are grinding. Bro, I was ready to go to war, bro.
All right, well that's a good segue to the
and
next
it wasn't
question.
even real, fam.
Right.
But it was like it can be real though.
Right.
For sure. I was actually watching something later on, and it reminded me of that. And they were just talking about how whatever they were watching, I can't remember what it was. It took them a while to realize, oh, it's not real. You know what I'm saying? But I had that moment where I was like, this might be going on.
Right. I'm like, why did I never hear about this shit?
And for me, I just never even looked at the Goofy movie like that. And then I rewatched it maybe like a week or two ago, and I was like, oh my god.
You know what? That's crazy, because the Goofy, I love that movie. I don't remember anything about it.
Really?
That Goofy movie is that at one point he warms up a can of beans with his car, the cigarette lighter in his car. That's the only thing I remember really, really liking that movie. Yeah, so I probably should watch it again too.
Yeah, I watched it again. It was wild. I would say watch it again. Did you guys have a favorite episode?
Hmm. Uh, I don't know. I like there were so many good ones. And most of the ones are going to be like the little offshoots because the one where they had the guy, the like famous singer Michael Jackson archetype shoot himself in the air. That one was wild. The one with the white women getting the black kids was super strange, but like also kind of illuminating and also felt real, even though that's not a thing that I really know about. That one was cool. The one with the tree and with my man, where Al ends up cutting down the man's tree and then with that rich guy's house. Yeah, it was awesome, man. I don't really have a favorite, I guess I should say, but there were several really good episodes. How about you?
So I have two contenders. I like the whole show overall. Same as both of you guys have been saying. I really like the offshoot episodes and the anthology episodes in the third season. The season premiere, season 3, 3 Slaps is the one you're talking about. With the black kid and the black kids and the white women.
Right.
That's definitely like a contender for number 1. It actually was a real...
Yeah, bro, that was real. That was true. But the kids died, fam.
Yeah, I mean, I that's the thing about it. Like, I never really heard of that, but it really just made sense. Like that shit actually goes on.
But the thing about it is, even though that was real, I feel like the show showed us a lot of things that we couldn't have known about real life, like how it was actually in their house day to day.
Right.
That still felt like very real. And the other one was the reparations one. That one was real funny to me, but also it felt like a really smart way to do reparations. I don't know how plausible it would be, but it did still feel smart. And then the last shot with all of the white people working in the restaurant as the black people are sitting there dining, that was like, I was like, oh wow. Like it really just flips the entire society upside down, which is insane.
Yeah.
Okay, I have 2 questions for y'all before we wrap it up.
Okay.
My first one... So I was asking people if they had watched Atlanta, because I felt like it was a really great show, and like you guys said, you also enjoyed it. I was hearing a lot of people say that it was actually made for white people. Do you have any comments on that?
Go ahead, Mohammed.
I feel like it could be. I can see why people say that. Now, will white people want to watch it? Probably not. But I feel like I can see that. It's no different than because in the documentaries like I'm Not Your Negro or 13th. We know this kind of shit. I was raised on this history that we was done wrong. It's not really, but I know people like Ann who didn't know Malcolm X, and it was like what 1990 something.
Right.
She didn't even know who the hell Malcolm X was, and there's people out here who really don't know the black experience. So I could see that.
Okay.
So I would say, I kind of hope that it was made for white people in a way because, and I could kind of what I think is that like we're talking about a lot of those offshoot episodes. What I feel like what happens when something does well is if it does well in the media in America, it's going to have some white people checking for it. So as a creator, even if it's so it could be for black people, but it can also be targeted at white people.
Interesting.
And I feel like the show is definitely for Black people because we are the ones who will see that and recognize those characters. But I think by showing so many different types of characters, it opens other people's eyes. And by the show just being so fabulous, even without the offshoot episodes, it draws that wider audience, whiter and wider audience in. And then they get to show you, these white women abducting Black kids.
Right.
Or the other episode, I can't really remember what exactly happened in it, but I remember saying this would be good for white people to watch. And it was the one where the white guy was on the boat under the bridge.
I thought he was going to kill that man.
For real.
You guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, where he was on the boat and he was talking to him. It was dark and it was his friend.
Yeah.
That's at the beginning of Three Slaps.
You was on the edge of the seat the whole time.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah. So I feel like I said, I hope that it is for and that it reaches a lot of white people because it talks about a lot of issues that we as Black people have to deal with every day.
Yeah, and about the jaunt on the boat, that's another thing that I still to this day don't know if that was real or not. About the town getting flooded. Like that was...
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, okay, I don't know if it was real or not, but you could definitely tell. I mean, I guess the feeling that it gave me was it could happen, whether it did or it didn't.
Right.
It doesn't... If it didn't happen that exact way, it's happened hundreds of different ways, for the same types of things. So, it felt real. And like I said, white people should definitely, understand the points that show, that episode in particular, trying to make. So, like I said, I hope it reached a lot of them. I don't really get into the numbers, but I feel like it probably did well. So, hopefully that means that a lot of white people got exposed to something that they might not necessarily saw otherwise.
Right. And that's honestly a good synopsis for the whole show. I feel like it maybe it didn't happen, but it definitely could have.
Right.
So
yeah.
I had this thought when I was watching it. I think we were at the Mr. Chocolate episode, or the Tyler Perry episode. And I was thinking this show is in some ways like a new age Boondocks, like a Boondocks for today. Do you guys have any thoughts on that?
Well, first of all, I love the Boondocks.
Right.
I thought that show was really revolutionary at the time. And I definitely see some parallels with some real characters for sure. And I think particularly back to how well the show did and how a lot of times what I heard about was the Martin Luther King episode. And that kind of, to me, jives with the kind of offshoot episodes that we're talking about. And just the realness, of a show like that in that time and space. Yeah, I think that the similarities, I think that there definitely are some similarities. I enjoyed both of them. It's funny you mentioned that show because, like I said, that was really an eye-opening show, the Boondocks. I mean, when I first started taking a look at that.
Bro, you got anything?
Yeah, man. I would say Boondocks is a favorite of mine. And to be honest, I just started watching it again with my ladies. And I feel like absolutely, man, because it's talking about the reality of America. Is the dance between the black society and the white society.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, one more thing. I said I had two questions, but this is one that I forgot earlier. Circling back to my comment, Donald Glover actually tweeted, I think before season 3 came out, so it was maybe close to a year ago, maybe a little over that. He said, by the time the show over, he's basically like, no show can touch us except for maybe The Sopranos. Like, the show's gonna be that good. What do y'all think about that? You really think it was that good?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. And I'm not a Sopranos fan. I've seen some episodes, but so I'm probably not the best person to ask. But just on the whole, man, the show was really well done. I mean, they had a very. I like. There's so many things I like about it, but I like how they didn't really deal with the fluff, like in between episodes and in between seasons, especially. These people had transitioned, and they respected the audience enough not to feel like they had to fill you in with every detail or tell you where that person is. They told you what kind of character the person was, and then they explained in real time what's going on. But you know, the pace of the show was really good. The actors were really good. Those artistic offshoot episodes were excellent. I'm not that familiar with The Sopranos, but just among the TV that I've seen recently, the show is very good. It's very good. It is. It's one of those things that I'll carry with me for a very long time.
Same. Yeah. Same. All right. So I don't have anything else, so I'll wrap it up unless you guys have anything you want to add.
No, man. Thanks for inviting me. I really enjoyed talking about it. I'm glad that. I mean, honestly, you were the first person I ever talked to about it, honestly, and Muhammad second. So.
Yeah, I just want to say. Oh, was you finished, bro?
Yeah, I'm good, man.
Man, I just want to say that my first introduction to Atlanta was by my old head Jelani, rest in peace. The episode where Al was on the talk show, one of the first episodes.
Oh yeah.
And oh yeah, Chuck, man, you should watch Sopranos, bro. It's close. It's kind of like The Wire. It gets into the real life of mobsters. It's not fluffy. It's not any of that shit, man. It's like real. It's like what these people were actually dealing with, struggles and this, that, and the third. Although it's a lot of white people, it's majority Italians or whatever, but it's like The Wire, man, if you ever watched The Wire.
Oh, yeah, definitely seen The Wire. I'll take a look at it, especially since you guys said the endings kind of mirror each other. So, yeah, I'll take a look at it.
All right, for sure. That's all I got, man.
All right, cool.
Thank you for inviting me, bro.
Of course, man. Thank you for coming. Do you have anything you want to plug before you leave? Anything you want to let the listeners know? Like, you run a shop, or you got an Instagram, music, anything like that?
Oh yeah, man. Follow the market, man. _ DADA market _ on Instagram. That's Dada Market. Dada means sister in Swahili. Man, you can find all kinds of products on there, between clothes, products for health, incense, for the skin care, you know what I mean. And I also got incense on deck. Follow me at moodabee.waliaki. That's MOODABEWALIAHKI. You heard?
You ready for the plug, huh?
Yeah.
At Third Thrift & Co. ThirdThrift and AND Co. I'm going to be posting more stuff on there. Third Thrift & Co. Come check me out.
All right, right on. So yeah, thank you guys for coming. So what I do at the end, well, first I'm going to talk about a little bit about what I'm going to do next. We're going to have a Black Panther episode. Chuck, I know said you might want to be on that one as well.
Yeah.
We just reached over 100 views, which is great. Thanks everybody for listening, or listens, not views. And we've almost hit a year, so I'll probably do a little something special for the year of it, maybe a special episode.
Congratulations, bro. That's
thank you.
I know, like I said, I tried to put together a podcast before, so I know much work it is. Congratulations. That's a really big deal.
Thank you. It's appreciated.
No problem.
So yeah, I like to end off every episode with like a little. I like to give a prayer for people who listen. I guess like a little blessing that you might not always think about. So for this time, I pray that that somewhere throughout your day or maybe your week, you have a moment of like clarity, of like enlightenment, of like, maybe there's something that you're working on a lot that's tough, and then you get it, it clicks. Anything you guys want to add?
Ashe.
All right.
Good job, man. I'm looking forward to that moment of clarity.
Yeah. All right.
All right, bro.
I'll see you guys later, and I'll check you guys out in the next one. Peace.
Peace.
All right, man. Take it easy.